Daddy.
Hello everyone, this is Eman with Gamey Daddy and I'm here with another video from Tom Clancy's The Division. So, yes, I've been gone for a while and honestly, it's been great. Took a little break from the channel so I could, just take a little break because grinding on YouTube can get really tasking. So I wanted to enjoy some other things that are much more important than YouTube, which are, my personal life, family, kids, all that good stuff. And it was quite a fun time. I'm so glad that the Division community right now is in a place where the game is transitioning. And for those of us who are really perceptive, we know that this game is advancing to most likely a second Division IP. So right now, there are few new players. There's a set of third wave agents that are enjoying the game, doing their thing. If you go on Twitter, it's really lively. I mean, their build videos and all this stuff, kind of the stuff that, the 1,000 plus hour players have, been there, done that. And a lot of the pro players seem to have moved on, but that's no problem. Nevertheless, I'm just here, with just a few things just to say what's up to the community and also to talk about some things that I would like to see if there'll be a Division 2. Now, is there going to be a Division 2? We don't know that, but honestly, what I can tell you is there are markers and there are certain patterns that you can see. And if you apply simple intuition, I'm sure that you'll be able to deduct that there will be, or most likely will be, a Division IP release coming soon. Now, like I always say, I'm no fan of speculation, but sometimes, your speculations can be wrong. Nevertheless, I don't want to walk in the dark with my eyes closed. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to be as perceptive as possible. And I'll tell you exactly what my reasoning is for that. Now, visiting, massive.se, which is Massive's website, it was apparent that there are positions open in that part of the game development regarding the Division. So Massive is still hiring for the Division. And in fact, some positions are looking for, Division and Avatar, people that will come on those teams to work. Also, Red Storm and Reflections are two studios that are also working and supporting the Division. If you guys watch the State of the Game, the one that had everybody crying, oh, the year 2 announcement, one of the creative directors mentioned that those studios were going to support the Division on the long term. So why would 3 studios be working on the current Division game when so far the announcements that we got were necessarily not, announcements for much new content? If you ask yourself that question, you're going to end up with 3 possibilities. And the first possibility is that, Massive is probably going to continue to advance this Division IP. Like eventually, maybe they want to go ahead and do a year 3 thing or whatever. If not, why hire more people? Or the advancement is supposed to be like a new game, a new Division. And, the third thing I would say is this new game is coming very soon, because if they're hiring for now for that position, then I can bet it for sure that they're looking to put out this new game. So what I would say is this. Just, you go ahead and choose your interpretation. Another thing that I think I can point out to say, I kind of perceive that there'll be a Division 2 very soon is the fact that Destiny has just been announced. Now, honestly, if you track back, Destiny was, the Division was announced at E3 of 2013. And if you look at your calendar, E3 is fast approaching. And love it or hate it, the Division is still a great game with a lot of grounded fans. If an announcement for Division 2 were to happen at this E3, it's going to send tremors in the gaming world. I'm telling you, people are going to literally lose their minds. I know there are a lot of people who feel like they've been burned by the game, but honestly, the Division right now is in a good place. If you left the Division maybe months ago, I would say come back and play it. Now, a lot of people have stopped playing it, not because the game is bad, but because we have literally burned out every single aspect of this game, as hardcore gamers do. So boredom probably has set in, and that repetition is probably coming after over 1,000 hours, some people 2,000 hours. So I don't blame anybody for leaving because, they just want to give it a break. Now, for those that are saying the game is dead because the game is bad, that's absolutely short-sighted. That's absolutely invalid. Now, PvP has faced its challenges, whatever, but right now the game on its PvE side and most of the PvP mechanics are in a good place. But back to what I was saying about E3 and the Division of 2013, I can tell you for sure that from a business perspective, there is an incentive for Massive to make a second title. I mean, why not compete? why not, you know, keep the fans and the solid consumer base, the solid community base, if anything, that this game has. This is the industry, you know, standard competition. And as a conscientious gamer, any one of you listening to this video or watching this video, the last thing you want in any category is monopoly, because the fans of a monopolized gaming category will be burned. So just imagine if Destiny was the only looter shooter out there. That's going to alienate a lot of players. Personally, I don't like first-person shooters. I mean, you can't judge everybody based on my preferences, but there are a lot of people who prefer the Division because of the third-person side of it, and because of the fact that it relates to a real-life scenario, in a sense. Like, we're not building spaceships and we're not in a futuristic time. I have friends that have actually suggested Destiny 2, and for them, there's just a disconnect. There are a lot of people who actually, you know, prefer just the gaming style. There are people who love both of them. I'm trying to get into Destiny. Another fellow, you know, content creator here on YouTube, Afflicted Gamer, check out his channel. He's trying to get me into Destiny, but I've taken a break. I took a break from, like, you know, playing for like at least the past 2 weeks. So I'm probably gonna try and get on so he can give me a very huge orientation on the game, and hopefully I can get one over. But if I don't, you know, that it's what it is. Anyways, back to, you know, that's another rabbit trail. But, you know, pretty much that competition between Massive and Bungie, I feel like, is going to create a balance in the looter shooter category. Healthy competition is definitely welcome, and I feel like this competition is actually going to force both companies to raise their game. So this is a healthy thing for the Division and Destiny gamers as well. We need to support this happening, because we don't want to end up like some sporting games where one company owns a license to pretty much the resources to continue to make that game every year. Anyways, that's my opinion. If there'll be a Division 2 anyways, there are two things I'd like to see. So the reason I'm making this video is, you know, just to point out things that the community and things that I've noticed that really shook the First Division community, and I'm gonna share them. And so if anyone from, you know, the community is listening, I would say this is something we can put on Twitter. I'm gonna start bugging the community developer right now, because he's on Twitter. He's very, very vocal and open with the community, which I like. He takes our criticism and, you know, he's able to, you know, respond professionally and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna bug him in a good way anyways. So the first thing is this: I would love to see that Massive treat this community as it ought to. The community needs to be treated primarily as clients, not just fans. Now, I think this is what many gaming companies are missing. Sometimes the pull to meet corporate requirements, you know, deadlines, all these things like exclusives, and most importantly, the casual nature of the gaming industry sometimes blinds everybody to the fact that people that patronize video games are customers. Believe it or not, we pay money for this, and we like the fact that, you know, a publishing company treats us, the gamers, as clients. You know, we're not your bros. I mean, that's a blunt way of saying it. I mean, we kind of are, but in a real sense, we are clients primarily, and then community members secondarily. And in today's world, the standard is that you deliver quality to your clients. In fact, if you don't do so, you're going to be tagged as duplicitous. So Massive, the community, you know, and others alike, we're going to hold your feet to the fire. The community stays through, you know, all the problems that plague the title. And, you know, we gave you guys a pass in the first title. Your reputation is really on the line. And this is not saying that, you know, you guys are not able. You guys are really able to, you know, to reach, you know, and literally blow out every expectation. If the corporate decisions can line up to favor the players more than, you know, corporate agendas, like all the exclusives that happen in the game, that literally put a big divide on so much. I mean, Xbox was getting stuff 30 days before PlayStation, and I know other companies are doing it. It makes more money for the company. I would like for our game developers to be paid and rewarded handsomely for their work, but I would say that keeping a healthy community, happy customers, is actually much more important than, you know, meeting these corporate agendas, I would argue, because even though the Division was a big hit, imagine how much more of a bigger and better hit it would have been if we had a solid community on all platforms from the start. Now, talking about a solid community, I'm going to speak about the second thing I like to see in Division 2, and this is it: separate PvE from PvP. Now, this is a controversial one. And I doubt that many people would disagree. that separating PvE and PvP is not a valid like proposition. So think about it. You can synergize PvE and PvP. You can create, you know, similar elements, but there has to be a clear distinction. Now, I haven't played Destiny's, you know, Destiny is the direct competitor, so I'll refer, you know, to Destiny. I haven't touched Destiny's PvP. I haven't done it. I'm not really good at PvP anyways. And, you know, one thing I do feel though is the disorganized Dark Zone mechanic that we had in the Division literally created a division within the community. I mean, it was an innovative concept, but nevertheless, it eliminated the fact that humans play these video games. Regardless of how the social designs are for a new IP, I would argue that the better direction to go is to foster unity within the community. If you continue to create a divide like that, I mean, it's a great social experiment. Think about it. You have the option to go rogue or not. Well, guess what? There are people who would love to go rogue, and there are people who would not want to go rogue. You are pitting personalities against one another. You're pitting agendas against one another. Sure, there's a fun place. It's a fun place to do that. But I feel like even in an organized setting, PvP can still thrive. Look at the success of Last Stand. You know, fine. Last Stand, you know, it breathed a little bit of life into the community, into the PvP community. The PvP players loved it. Even I like it. I'm a PvE player and I like, this is the first time I can say in this whole game, after 1 year of playing, I can say I actually like the PvP in this game. So that tells you a lot. That says a lot. I mean, and I'm talking for, I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for me and a host of probably 15 other hardcore PvE players who literally are hung up, just like literally they are addicted to playing Last Stand now. These are guys that never touched PvP, but now that Last Stand is there, they're actually enjoying it. So an organized PvP is good. It's good for everybody. I feel like it is. Even though people want to run around in a dark zone, or if they create another sandbox that has PvP, at least they need to create the option for people to enter that arena with the mind to PvP. If Massive can execute these two concepts in a second IP, then we're going to have a united community. We're not going to be hating on content creators just because. I mean, we're not going to be doing all that stuff. I doubt that you're going to see a lot of that. Because first of all, if you're going to separate PvE and PvP, you're most likely going to, you know, get gear sets and all these things for them. I mean, classes. Now they're creating classes for our current Division game or loadouts. Why not just create, you know, pretty much default loadouts that you use to go into a PvP setting where everybody's going to be doing the same amount of damage, the same amount of skill, or whatever it is. So if a team is geared up or somebody is geared up, they know exactly what they're going to be expecting, and so there are no surprises. I feel like that's going to make things, you know, they're going to put things in perspective. They're going to even things out. I'm speaking for the PvP community, so that may not be what the PvP community needs, but I think to foster unity within the community, there's no need to create a sandbox that puts everything in. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting now. But anyways, I need your opinions, guys. I want to hear what you guys think. So let's get this discussion going. Let's see what you know, what the future brings, what the next few months bring. I'm almost gonna bet that E3 is gonna have some big announcement for the Division, but I'm not gonna put any money on it. But you know what? I'm gonna put a quarter on it. I'm gonna bet with my wife. She's really nice. So I don't want to bet with you guys because I know someone's gonna want to take all my money. So I'm gonna put a quarter on it and say E3 is gonna be a big Division announcement, maybe Division 2 or an IP that's, you know, in the same, let me say, line of the game we've been playing for the past year. Anyways, that's my spew. I hope the community is listening, and for those who have actually literally, you know, given good criticism to this game, I want to say hats off to you. For the haters who literally had no idea and gave, you know, all their hateful criticism as well, thank you for bringing it, because it kind of puts some things in perspective, and we're hoping that we can actually bring you into the community or serve you a better, you know, IP later on. I'm sure the Massive team is going to want to do this, if anything. Anyways, thanks for listening and watching. I'm glad to be back from a short break. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. You guys have still been watching, still been commenting on the videos. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you once again for listening and watching, and peace.